It's showtime.
Okay guys, welcome back to the STPL. My name is Kix. You're joining me for FBW versus White, where I would say not many people would expect this, but FBH, or FBW even, FBH, Firebat Hero, what's he doing? But FBH are up 1-0 at the moment against White here, so can they carry this through? Can they take it all the way home to the bank? Obviously we're going to find out as we head into our second game. I did announce who it was going to be before, but it's going to be Splax and JH. Now JH is one of the amateur players. He's not like an ex-professional gamer or anything for White. I've not seen any of his games so far, but I know after their loss to Naz, they added a lot more players to their roster. White were not happy losing to Naz in the way they did. They lost 4-0. And that is something unheard of for White in the STPL so far. So teams doing a lot better against White Clan. And it's showing here, like here with a great tactic against first being able to take him down with that Sunken Rush on Coliseum. And obviously we're going to be heading into game 2. So let's introduce our players and let's see how they're going to do against each other. Now of course, there's not any stats for either of these players. Neither of them have actually played in the STPL so far, so there's no really point showing that screen. So let's have a look at what map they're going to be playing on. So as you can see on your screen, it's going to be on Benzene. Now this is going to be a TVP, one of my favorite matchups, so I'm kind of excited about being able to see this. JH, obviously an unknown White player to me, so looking forward to seeing how he's going to play. Splax obviously making his debut here for the Foreign Boudoir roster. Splax is a very strong Protoss player. I played a lot of games with him. I can't remember what the results were, but I probably lost all of them, if I'm going to be completely honest. But good to see Splax finally here, one of the other really active members of the FBW Discord community. So obviously, if you've not heard of the FBW Discord, hopefully someone will be able to give you a link in chat. I think you can post links, but I can't remember. If you can't, I'll get an invite and you can always join after the stream. But very welcoming community. Yeah, very welcoming. But either way, it's a 2-player map, 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock spawns. PBT is currently 1-for-1 on this map so far. A very, very balanced map for PBT. You can get some really good engagements as Terran and as Protoss if you control the bridges of your opponent. And obviously lots of space for carriers, lots of space for arbiters to fly around as well. And there we go, Lumaya has posted an invite link to the Discord. So if you don't want to join, do join in the discussions. And I'm looking forward to see how this game's going to go as we get into game number 2 between FBW and White Clan. It's Splax versus JH. Let's get started. And speaking of getting started, in the top right hand position we do have in the cream fighting for White. It's going to be JH. I wonder if his real name's like Jaehoon. That'd be kind of cool. But obviously Jaehoon, the Protoss player. But either way, spawning here over in the bottom left-hand side is going to be our teal Protoss player fighting for FBW. It's the man himself. It's Splax. And now obviously a huge hello to anybody watching. If you've not seen the STPL before, we've been going since March. We're in the middle of round 3. We're in week 4 of round 3 actually. There's another round to come after this, and then the grand finals, which is where all of the prize money will be distributed to every single team. Even the teams at the bottom of the table are going to get something. And now the 4 rounds are basically the qualifiers for the grand final playoffs. So for each of the round playoffs, depending on your position, you get qualification points. And those qualification points all add up to the end. You get 5 for a win, 3 for second, 2 for third, and 1 for fourth in the round playoffs. Now, White Clan currently sat quite safely on 10 points, so it's going to be quite hard for them not to qualify for the grand finals at the end. But obviously every round, every single match matters for all of these clans. There's a lot of very prideful clans, a lot of very old clans here. White Clan have been a clan in Korea since 1998, one of the strongest clans in Korea as well. And apparently I forgot to update the overlay, so thank you very much for pointing that out. Let's fix it. There we go. By the power of technology, I'm able to fix that in one button, so life is good. But yeah, we are going to have Splax moving in. I think he went for a pylon scout there, so does get in quite quickly. Sees exactly what his opponent's doing. It's going to go into a Cybernetic score behind this, so fairly standard opening from him. Now JH is actually going into a factory, well, most certainly a factory. Now whether or not he goes into an expand is going to come down to this. Now you see the two SCVs pulled off at 88 gas. That means that he is going to add his factory, which is actually a little bit late. He did go for a marine as well as this depot before this factory, so that's a bit of a pain for him. But it's not too much of a big deal. You usually see that 8 gas earlier than when it came in, but realistically it's not going to be too much of a big deal. He is against a fairly standard macro opening. He's going to see the Cybernetic score spinning with range, so he should know exactly what's going on, and we should see him backing out fairly shortly as he knows the first Dragoon is on the way. Now, usually the first Dragoon actually comes in for around 21 supply, so this Dragoon a little bit late for Splax. I think he's using a lot of his APM to get this probe in, which delayed his units just a little bit. Probe being taken down. This is a nice wall off you can do on Benzene. To any Terrans looking at this map on ladder saying, well, how do I play against Protoss here? You build the racks on the far left, the depot next to it, and the factory in front, and that does give you a little bit of space underneath for your units to get out your base as well. And it obviously gives you two zealot tight areas. Now, JH is playing very, very confidently here. He's expanding on the low ground now. We should see a bunker coming up with this as well. This is kind of a more standard way of factory expanding. Now, usually, say even like 3 years ago, FD was still very, very popular on a lot of the maps. The FD push, of course, you're faking a 2 factory, although realistically, by the time FD had been used so much, it's kind of obvious that they were never going to 2-fact, because 2-fact is so weak against Protoss, unless they go a very specific opening. But we are going to have the Nexus coming in for Splax as well. So Splax going into double gateway, no additional tech as of yet. His range is about to finish up, so he should be able to move forward and do a little bit of damage. Now he is going to get the SCV from JH, but JH, without seeing the Nexus, should really know what's going on. He's going to send a second SCV just to be safe. Obviously doesn't want to die to any proxies or anything crazy like that. But with this command center coming in, we should likely see an academy coming in. We could see a starport. The starport is definitely the way I like to play. It's the way I've seen Scan likes to play as well, but JH more than likely is going to go into a second factory quite soon here. Starport's a little bit more risky. It does help you early on into Reaver play and things, but I mean, look at JH. He's just scouting absolutely everywhere for any possible proxies. He is going to now know that there's a couple of Dragoons attacking his bunker, but unfortunately for him, the tank is already finished. But he's not really too worried, as he's got his Nexus. It's going to be mining, and he is going to be going into some tech behind this, which are going to be his Robo. So Splax looking pretty good so far. JH looking pretty good so far. No player really doing too much. Now JH is going to be able to get in, see the Nexus, and that's going to kind of be quite relieving, because he's been really worried about what's going on. He's going into his comm stats very, very quickly. Still no second factory actually for him just yet. Still no starport either. So kind of interested to see exactly what JH is going for. I think he's saving up for a very quick third CC, which on this map is quite dangerous to do, but I mean, it is certainly one of the options you can go for as Terran. And now he could just be saving up 400 minerals when he gets 200 gas to go into 3 factory. But second refinery is coming in. So yeah, it looks like it is going to be for a few more factories here. Now, obviously the longer he leaves these, the more delayed his push is going to be. But we see the second factory coming in. We should see a third one very, very soon with this 100 gas, although it could be for an armory, which it is. So the armory's coming up in the natural. So still playing very, very standard, is JH. Now we do have a Citadel Observatory up as well, so it looks like we're going to be heading into Arbiters for him. We see the first scan going down on the main. He is going to see the Citadel, which is a pretty big tell of what's to come. He also saw a probe heading down to the bottom left. So this is going to be kind of cool. We're going to see the Templar Archives hidden, and we're going to see a Stargate coming in as well. So definitely going to be Arbiter play coming in from Splax. JH still just slowly trying to build up his army. He has gone into a third command center as natural. And I mean, he's just building up a lot of tanks. Going to make it very, very difficult for Splax to really move in. He doesn't have a shot or anything like that, so JH doesn't really need to worry about where he sieges. He's going to siege next to the bunker anyway. But it's going to be kind of hard for either player to really do any damage for each other right now. And that's why we're going to see a third Nexus coming up here from Splax in just a moment. And now additional gateways coming in for him. Stargate is finished. Was he... Okay, was that flashing because it just finished? Or was it flashing... Like, did he build a scout and cancel it? Like, that would have been so sick. Oh wow, nice usage, actually putting his observer over the turret. The reason for this is the turret, when the observer is just over it, will not shoot the observer until afterwards. Now, of course, there's a Goliath here, but you have to spam click stop on the turret to make it fire at the observer when it's directly above it. So, good usage of that trick by Splax to try and get a little bit of an edge, but obviously flying away when he saw the Goliath. Now, four factories coming in for JH as he heads on forward here with his third command center. And now Splax, seeing the third command center, going to be going into a fourth base very, very quickly. Now, in the ASL recently with Sin, players do this. Now, it's certainly not a bad idea, but when you're going for two expansions very, very quickly like this, you're delaying your extra gateways. So it is going to be 4 gateways against 4 factories. You realistically want to be on more gateways than the Terran has factories, otherwise you are going to eventually lose. But it looks like we are going to have +1 coming in, Starport coming in as well. Second scan going down on the main, just confirming that it is going to be the Arbiter Tribunal. Now, he isn't going to know exactly what upgrade's coming first, but this is going to force him to go for some recall defense, of which he doesn't actually have any at the moment. And now that would be certainly one way that we could see Splax getting what he wants here. Now, there is going to be recall researching first, so the one detriment of going for recall first, of course, is he doesn't have that many gateways, so he's not realistically going to have that many units to recall at the beginning. He hasn't really started Zealot production just yet. He's still only on 4 gateways. The 4th base about to finish up. Nice pylon wall, though, at the 4th. Now, of course, this doesn't block against a single tank, so a tank could come here and just siege down your Nexus, so you need to be careful with that. But things are looking pretty good on both sides. We're getting into more of a macro game. We're going to see a nice scan there going down, but Charon boosters just about finishing up, so only just killing that observer. The 4th base coming in for JH as well, so I mean, this is one of those weird moments where both of them are kind of playing chicken with each other. They're saying, when are you going to do damage to me? Well, it's not going to be soon. I see you going for another base. What's the plan? Now, we do have a scan going down here, a scan going down on top of the small army in the middle, and he's going to send some vultures around the edge. You know, he doesn't actually have vulture speed yet. That's not finished. So the vulture's not really going to be able to achieve too much, but he does want to see if there was a reaction from Splax to seeing this 4th command center. Now, we should see a 5th base coming up, and that's exactly what Splax is going to do. We're kind of seeing both players just skip any form of aggression. Like, this is the first time a unit has attacked another non-working unit this game. And I mean, we don't even have speed vultures at 11 minutes. That is not normal. You would normally have speed a lot quicker than this. You'd have vultures heading all over the map laying mines. But JH is playing very greedy here again. So, I mentioned before that Splax is only on 4 gateways. I mean, he's gone up to 6 now, going up to a 7th and his 8th, which is good for him. But I mean, JH is 11 minutes into the game. He's on 4 bases, and he's still only got 4 factories. Like, he needs to start getting more factories, otherwise he's going to fall behind in macro. I mean, Splax has taken a supply lead here. Obviously a lot of that could be in probes, but we see the 4th base is coming up. Good tank positioning by JH. We're not going to be able to defend his front, which is kind of a little bit dangerous, but kind of in there to do recall defense. Now, do we have an Arbiter yet? Yes, we do. It's going to be building energy back here. He should be going in... Oh no, this is recall. That must have been... Oh, he went for Arbiter energy first. Okay. And there we go. 2nd Stargate coming in. 9th, 10th gateways coming in. And it looks like we're finally going to have the 5th and 6th factory come in. But this is so late in this game. Like, when I was playing back in 2015, I was getting coached by... parent player on N-Stop, which was the clan that Arcneon set up. He was B rank at the time, and he said realistically you want to kind of get your 4th and 5th factory around 5 minutes, 6 minutes even, when you go for a quick 3rd. So this is very interesting of a game. Obviously both of them are playing very passively, but eventually we're going to see a big engagement. Now we are going to have 2-1 upgrades coming in for JH. He's currently got 1 attack, so no one... there's no plating just yet on his units, which is kind of interesting, but we're going to have double Arbiter coming in here. And I mean, it's kind of hit the point in the game where there's not really too much I can actually say. Both of them playing very passively. We've got JH obviously trying to block this expansion down here. The Observer going through, seeing that there's not really that many mines on the map. JH hasn't really left his base as of yet, so... Oh man, this is a pain. Oh no, this is really painful. This is gonna... Oh my god, he's actually vortex bugged. He's gonna have to... Wait, is he gonna be able to pre those? Ah yeah, looks like he has. He's gonna have to spam click stop, but that was very unfortunate. Imagine if he'd lost all the units that way. But there we go, looks like Splax gonna try and move forward, clear up these mines. And yeah, this would be the moment where I'd make fun of Tasteless Shirt, but unfortunately I don't have anyone to take the piss out of, and I don't really want to take the mickey out of myself, so... Oh, here we go, this is actually going to be a recall coming in here. The Arbiter are going to be flying in. There is a lot of mines in the main, the Observer seeing them. Oh my god, the Arbiter actually gets behind a huge recall on top of the factories. How is JH going to be able to defend against this? You can see him pulling a lot of units back, but there's going to be a lot of damage. A lot of the units actually going down to mines, though. So this realistically isn't going to do that much, but he's almost got enough energy for a stasis if he keeps this alive long enough. Now there's Dragoons, Zealots in the main. Meanwhile, we do have more Dragoons out the front. He should probably look to push this 4th base. He's actually a little bit taxed. He only does have 139 APM. And it looks like this is a successful hold by JH, who is now up to 8 factories. I mean, there's still not going to be anything here to kill this Arbiter. Obviously, he could use a thing on it, but it'd be kind of pointless. He is going to have to kill this power generator if he wants to get out of his base, though. But Splax going to move on back. He's going to send a probe down here to try and take an additional base. We still have no 5th base there. Looks like there is... Oh my god, there's actually an Arbiter trying to kill this tank. This is going to be forever, but here we go. The probe does go down, so he knows there's still vultures up there. Going to send an Observer down there, but here is round 2. We see a lot of units clumped up for this recall. He has a 2nd Arbiter in here as well. He could stasis the ramp, and if he does that, that is going to be so dangerous, but there's a lot more turrets here. There's a oh my god, that's 3 turrets. There's no way he's going to be able to recall through this. Oh my god, he's going to recall on top of mines! A huge clump of mines go on top of those units. And I mean, he's going to pull back, going to be running into mines again. And that was not a successful recall. Now, Splax's money very high right now. He's not got the kind of gateway farm that you'd be looking for as Protoss right now. He has no additional gateways, other bases, like... You'd even likely see some gateways up here to try and go in for a flank. Now, he does have a lot of units back in to defend, but with +2 upgrade done, it looks like JH is going to be moving in. He's going to be going to 3-1. Now, he doesn't have all of his units here. There's a lot of units back in defense still. He's going to have to gather all of his forces. Both players are once again maxed. It's going to be 2-0 against +1 attack. And it looks like JH is going to at least move out to take a 5th base. And can he make it happen as he heads on through the middle of the map with a lot of tanks, a lot of vultures. But it looks like Splax wants to go for a counterattack. There's actually nothing defending this base up here. But if he sends all of his units down there, JH is going to get an engagement on this base now. It looks like he's going to try and push over the bridges. He doesn't know that the bottom right is undefended. The tanks here doing a lot of damage, but Zealots getting in, pulling a mine, and that's going to pull JH's army back. He's going to send 3 tanks up here. This is a big, important moment. A good stasis on the ramp. The Zealots getting on top of the 3rd base, going to be going behind into the 4th base as well. And Splax is finding damage everywhere right now. Unfortunately, his Dragoons have been taken down, but the Zealot's going to get into the 4th base mineral line. He's going to be killing a lot of... Oh my god, the mines! Doing a lot of damage to these Zealots. He's going to go for the bunker for some reason. Just kill the SCVs. The Zealots getting killed now by the Vultures. Not getting as much damage done as he wanted, but he's still in a fairly good position. But this 5th base by Splax is going to be going down. Good usage of these 4 tanks. There was no reaction there by Splax, who was entirely focused on trying to take down that 4th base. And Splax, meanwhile, is not maxed. He's up against 190 supply. He's going to be able to take down these tanks. He, of course, does have this base down here, but JH moving on forward with the remnants of his army. 2-0, 3-1, still not finished, but very, very close. And this is just a lot of units for JH to be pushing forward with. Splax is not going to be able to defend or mine this base. Now Splax moving on forward, going to take another couple of mine hits. That has been JH's biggest advantage in this game. The mines have been insane. Oh my god, another load of Dragoons going down. And Splax with a big bank. He does stasis the 1 vessel, but he needs to stasis more units than that. A Nexus coming up as well, but that's going to go down. Splax's army is so unbelievably small. Another couple of Vultures moving down here to clear this. There are mines out the front as well. And it looks like Splax wants to go for a desperation recall as the Terran army is going to be pushing up towards his 4th base. He's putting a lot of stuff down here. This is a good stasis on a few of the tanks. But man, this is not a good position for our Protoss hero here for FBW. He's going to be flying in here. Does get the world's smallest recall off. But this is units. He doesn't have a home. He's mined out his 3rd. He's mined out his natural. He's nearly mined out at his main, and this is going to be his only mining base, which is also very nearly mined out. We've got JH moving forward. Splax moved everything down here to defend. I mean, the 4th base is going to go down, but JH still has minerals at his 3rd. He has this fresh base down here, and this is going to be a lot of dead probes. A nice stasis on those front tanks, going to give him a little bit more hope. And it looks like he may be able to clear these up. But saving this base isn't too important. I mean, he needs to bring his other Dragoons back, but against the 3-1 upgrades, his 2-0 Dragoons are just not going to cut it. The Arbiters are out of energy. The 4th base has been stopped from mining, but this base is still relatively healthy, and it looks like he's going for another counter. Playing the Lancer X style here. Is Splax going to be getting a lot of those SCVs as they try and pull back? But this is going to be a lot of tanks. They're going to be outside of his rally point. Splax still has a decent amount of money. He's queuing up units. And we're going to have Zealots trying to get in on top of this to defend. The tanks in defense in siege mode. Going to be more than enough to actually defend against this. And the final remaining... Well, I say this, he's actually secured this base now. But one of the only remaining bases of Splax is going to be taken down. The probes, unfortunately, going to go down immediately. We've still got more Dragoons moving through the map, trying to do counter damage where they can. But he is in a lot of trouble. When tanks are outside of your mining bases, when they're outside of your natural as well, what are you going to do? It looks like he's going to try and push forward against this. We even have tanks on the high ground. And realistically, the only moves he's going to be able to make now is going to be recalls, and there is a lot of recall defense. Now, JH is obviously down to 1 mining base as well. The Vulture's moving forward into the mines, getting a good couple of mine drags, and it looks like he is going to be able to break through the Zealots, but is he going to be able to break through the tanks? I mean, look at how deep that siege line is. The tanks on the high ground doing a lot of damage. 11 kills on this guy right here. He goes down, but he kills a lot of the units as they try and leave the base. This tank has a 4-leaf clover as he does not take very much damage at all from that, and JH looks like he's done it. Splax is out of money, he's out of time. JH pushing in, gonna be building another command center down here as well, but Splax played a fantastic game up until this moment. And I mean, he's pushing forward again. He does not have anything here. The EMP goes down, and GG is called. JH takes down Splax with great engagements, and does take us in to game number 3. Which should be a fairly cool one. Let's actually just double check who it's going to be between, because I've forgotten. If I remember correctly, it is between Lumaya and Jeju, so yes it is. So we'll be back after the break with, I believe, a ZVP on Icarus. It's Lumaya versus Jeju. Let's actually head on to a quick break, give my voice a rest as well, and get ready for game number 3. Don't go anywhere.